afternoon. Thanks for joining us on 98 Channel 5 News at 1. I am Miriam Emeka. Figures from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, as of 3rd June 2020 indicates 76 new cases of COVID-19 and 3 new discharged patients and no death in their city. Total confirmed cases 763, while active cases are still 538, and discharged COVID-19 patients now stand at 205, and 20 deaths recorded in the Federal Capital Territory. The chairman, Abuja Municipal Area Council, Abdullahi Adamu Candido, is lamenting that the cash flow into the coffers of the council is suffering setbacks, making administrative work very difficult. As Abetanimo Williams reports that this revenue loss is affecting the council's activities, necessitating the council authorities to demand swift intervention from higher authorities.
AMAC is reputed as the most influential area council in the nation's capital in terms of revenue base for community to several business concerns. However, this enviable position is being threatened by paucity of funds, a situation the chairman finds unacceptable.
Lacking payment of ordinary salary for workers. Ordinarily, this area council is amongst the least of some stronger, bigger local councils among the 774 councils. It's a shame that we can even say ordinary salary payment we cannot do it, as intimidation underground wise.
Adamu Candido has requested for the legal and finance department
to defend what belongs to this area council, even if it is going to cost me people. The mandate is too important for me to give out what belongs to the people of this area council. And one of you has said now is, we can't pay staff salary. And we don't have any reason not to pay salary. We are at an advantage position, very good advantage position, to complement our federation allocations. But for conflicts here and there, we cannot complement to even pay our contractors for services rendered to us.
He also advised residents of the council not to take the coronavirus precautionary measures with levity and to also avoid crowded areas. Asabetanimo Williams, NTA News.
As part of efforts towards reviving the nation's economy amidst coronavirus pandemic, hotels in the country are among businesses given the green light by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to reopen. Deborah Micah went around some hotels in Abuja and brought back the city.
Hotels have been closed as a result of the lockdown occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic. One of the hotel's manager told NTA News that shutting down the business was difficult, but hope for his business has been rekindled following the directive by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 for hotels to reopen under strict safety protocols such as provision of personal hygiene facilities, use of face masks, compulsory temperature checks, and observance of social distancing, among other non-pharmaceutical interventions.
We've been waiting and anticipating to reopen, and we were very glad that we got the go-ahead early in the week. We have applied all required World Health Organization regulations, and as we are also part of a group, worldwide standards that would make it safe and secure for all guests to return.
Who are eager in all sectors of the economy.
I think their staff, the government needs to open the economy back, the interstate movement, because people residing in particular environment, they won't go to hotels to lodge and stuff like that. So it's people from other states maybe coming to get visas from another country to go to another state. So those are the people that patronize hotels the most.
Hotel owners in Abuja is to try and see how they can just look at the masses, as in the staff, they are straight of the staffs they have now, not to just sack them, because some of them are just dependent. Just see how they can ask for government.
It remain closed till further notice. Deborah Micah, NTA News.
It is often said that desperate times call for desperate measures. The outbreak of coronavirus pandemic has prompted the federals to curb the spread of the virus. One of such measures is designating quarantine centers. Hawagimba visited some selected quarantine centers in the Federal Capital Territory to ascertain whether they are put to use.
Coronavirus pandemic has been ravaging the world and Nigeria is not excluded. This necessitated the Presidential Task Force to take action in creating some centers in the country and advise states to replicate such. The Federal Capital Territory, on its part, designated Agura Hotel, Women Development Center, the NYSC Orientation Camp, among others, as quarantine centers for those suspected to have is being utilized for now. Director General of the center, Mary Ekpere Ita, says the center is not the need arises.
It's very efficient and I think they're adequately taken care of. The feeding and everything about it, and the NCDC is doing their own job, coming at the nick of time to take their sample for, their sample for tests. Like the procedure is that at least to have 2 to 3 samples.
Various management of other quarantine centers visitors say they have not been given the go-ahead for their structures to be used. Hawagimba.
To say unprecedented measures have been adopted by different countries of the world, including Nigeria, of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Chidima Ansanagomo X-rays ways government can fast-track recovery and way out.
Going forward, many Nigerians believe that government must begin to do things differently to generate revenue aside oil. Things have become unpredictable, hence the need for the country to continue to find alternatives aside oil. Many believe that when crisis hits,
the COVID-19 has affected the world all over, so it affected businesses and families. Like some of us now, I'm a consultant, because of the COVID, you may not be able to release money. Are you getting me? For small-scale businesses, and give incentive like the agricultural sector. The way government is doing the agricultural sector, they need to intensify. What are they supposed to do? They're supposed to give grants. Now, this grant must not be money alone. Government can give in grants in form of land. Government can be able to marshal out land in specific places. So the government should be able to put a measure.
Said for government to boost the economic recovery from coronavirus pandemic, they should begin to support and encourage small businesses. In Abuja, Chidimansi Agomu, NTA News.
You are watching the NTA Channel 5 News at 1. We will be right back after this break. Stay with us.
Yeah, what though? This coronavirus, everybody they talk, not be play. Time anywhere and you know they show for face. If you catch am, you feel peme. If person will get a cough or sneeze, parent, anything where the cough touch. If you touch am, can't touch your face, or you even go touch another person, you feel don't catch am be that too. Now you make government say make you hear word, make you stay for house. Arrange food where you go chop, keep for house. If you dey outside, not shake anybody hand, not they hug anybody. They wash hand every time with soap and water where they flow. Make you wash hand like say you use and touch pepper, come take and clean your face. If water not there, use and sanitizer. If you dey cough, body dey hot and not fit breathe, if it be say na coronavirus be that so, make you call this number sharp sharp.
Thanks for staying. Globally, the purpose of International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression is to acknowledge the pains suffered by children throughout the world who are victims of physical.
Children victims of aggression is a United Nations Day observed every 1982, originally focused on the 1982 Lebanon War. A purpose expanded to acknowledge the pains suffered by children all over the world who are victims of physical, mental, and emotional. Reaffirm the United Nations commitment to protect fallen victims to some of these challenges, such as war, violence against more recently our state by 11 men, and the gang raping of a university student condemned these acts.
Ministers and all the stakeholder analysis and chart for a way forward to ensure that all children all over.
The Director General for the call on stakeholders, the legislator and government to ensure legislations that would defend victims whose rights have been violated, particularly girls and minors.
Each time there is a rape case, it is downplayed, and before you know it, the victim don't get verdict because of stigmatization and at times the way the security agents handle it. And I feel again that some of these men committing this victim of rape should be checked mentally. So the rape victims, for me, if you ask my opinion, I think the penalty should be death.
Others who condemn the act of violence against children say this is the time to stand.
To start with, the institution responsible for treating such offenders should be strengthened.
The 2020 International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression cannot be marked as usual by stakeholders due to the coronavirus pandemic ravaging Nigeria and the world. Hawagimba, NTA News.
Large number of Nigerians have taken to social media to condemn the rape scourge and demand swift action against perpetrators to nip the ugly trend in the bud. Abdullahi Suleimani in this report takes a look at this national outcry.
The rallying cries, #Justice for Owa, #Justice for Jennifer, and lately violence, mostly targeted at vulnerable persons in society.
I think our parents and then our guidance around need to come together. It's not just what, it's for the whole society to do. Because if one person is to take care of a child, then he won't be able to do it alone.
There is a saying that said, what men sees is what moves them to act some level, to some extent. Indecent dresses too can result to such.
A demand for justice is a driving force, as many firmly condemn these attacks.
A perversive person or a thief needs to think like, how can I hurt you? So it's not just about the dressing.
It's now our responsibility to ensure that the society is a safer place for everybody to live in.
Is this another silent epidemic?
To rally around the world that has been raped so that that kind of a thing will not go unpunished next time.
The wife of the president, Aisha Buhari's charge at relevant security agencies to crack down on this crime is widely seen as a call to action which should extinguish the raging fire and strike fear into the hearts of rapists on the prowl. Abdullahi Suleimani Yaji, NTA News.
To further demystify the myths surrounding menstrual cycle among young girls in Galadimawa community of the Federal Capital Territory and raise awareness on safe health practices, the Youth Initiative for Sustainable Human Development is deafening silence around the topic and equip girls against the ripple effects. Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji has more.
Over the years, menstruation has been a taboo subject in most cultures in Nigeria.
When you first saw it, what was your reaction?
Myself.
Shame, stigma, and knee-jerk revulsion have often led to misinformation and promotion of dangerous menstrual hygiene practices.
After the class, many today from
constitute a vulnerable group in relation to their health and social status, and experts estimate that 1 in 10 girls in sub-Saharan Africa misses school at some point because she's having her period, a development this organization seeks to arrest through this campaign.
It is evident that promoting menstrual hygiene management is not just a sanitation issue, but also it's about the integrity and dignity of every girl. Highlight of today's event is the distribution of the reusable sanitary pads.
Another effective approach by the group is the clamor for more water and toilet facilities in Galadima community to enable girls manage their periods. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
And now sports. Manchester United striker Odion Ighalo says he's excited and relieved after extending his loan to the club until January 31st, 2020. Fortuna Dusseldorf goalkeeper Maduka Okoye is delighted that Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr has extended his contract with Nigeria. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji has more on Sports Brief.
Ighalo, who joined the Red Devils from Chinese side Shanghai Shenhua on January transfer deadline day, hit the ground running, finding the back of the net 4 times in 8 appearances before the suspension due to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. Ighalo's contract at United expired on May 31st, but an agreement was reached between both clubs on June 1st to extend his deal with the striker. Ighalo also hints that Manchester United are ready to hit the ground running and take up where they left off, but the Nigerian declared that he cannot wait to get to action when the English Premier League kicks off. Meanwhile, 20-year-old Fortuna Dusseldorf goalkeeper Maduka Okoye can't hide his joy for Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr, since he put pen to paper, agreeing to handle the Nigerian side for another 2 years. In an interview with journalists, Okoye expressed confidence in the ability of the German tactician and discover football talents for national glory. Okoye also confirmed the possible move to Sparta when his current contract with Fortuna Dusseldorf expires. For Sports Brief, Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji.
And on the third one, a one-time director, Corporate Affairs, FCDA in the 1980s, and a retired permanent secretary in the Federation. Malam Abdullahi Maji, who died on Wednesday 2020, has since been buried according to Islamic rites. The Executive Secretary, FCDA, Engineer Umar Gabu Jibril, another FCDA, praise God. And just before we go, remember to wash your hands regularly with soap and running water for at least